then it wasn't really
recorded.
recording.
No. You understand challenges.
I know. Yeah.
Today I'm with transformative therapist and educator Vicki Graham. Has dedicated her life to empowering people to harmonize with their lives, with their unique path towards personal and self-discovery. To achieve this, Vicki offers a diverse array of services through specializing in workshops and one-on-one sessions. Her offering ranges from reflexology to integrated bodywork, kinesiology, and muscle testing. She also specializes in vibrational healing, also does business and executive coaching, and nutritional guidance. Beyond her reach as a best-selling author of 2 influential books. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is so exciting.
We're finally doing this.
I've known this woman forever, and I felt inspired that more people need to know about you, even though a lot of people do know about you. I'm sitting her down for an exclusive interview, and we're on her boat in the penthouse, we call it. But what is the technical name for this?
It's called a fly bridge.
It's called a fly bridge.
Yes, it's a fly bridge.
So we are in the penthouse or fly bridge, whatever you want to call it. Good place to be, especially this time of year, because you don't get too many days like this.
I know.
There's a lot I want to cover. Inspired you to pursue a career in holistic wellness.
Because my kids, being a mom and using conventional medicine that wasn't working at that time period, I had a really good, she was kind of an adopted mother.
Yeah.
And when my daughter had a hearing loss, she took her and said, look, we're
Amber.
Amber.
Yeah.
We took Amber. And she said, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to work on it a couple of times a day. I'm going to teach you how to do this, and you're going to see. She's not going to have to go in for an operation. A week and a half, her hearing loss cleared up all the infections. She did not have to do surgery.
That's amazing.
And then we started to work on myself, which I had all kinds of things going on in my 20s.
We're going to get into that.
Those are secrets.
We're not going to, we're going to keep this. So yes, I am personal friends with Vicki. I've known her for a long time, but I am so impressed with her wealth of knowledge. She's trained medical professional. We're just going to really have some fun diving in. Vicki, there's a common stereotype that's associated with transformative therapy, with New Age philosophy or religious practices. How would you clarify or debunk this perception?
Wow. Okay. So, so many years ago, like I probably started this 45 years ago, there really wasn't scientific data.
So you were 2 years of age.
I was 2. I was only 2. Actually, I was minus 2.
Yes.
So at that time period, anything I did, especially with muscle testing or reflexology, they really thought you were doing voodoo, because there was nothing to really prove the effects of what we were experiencing. But as time went on, I was very fortunate to be in a place where I worked with a lot of different doctors, and little by little, as technology came along and we, had things that we could do on sonograms, and as we entered the age of vibrational healing, in quantum physics, they could actually prove what was happening in the body as we were using some of these healing modalities.
And you were an intricate part of this.
I was an intricate part of that, in the way that, again, anything that I was doing, there would be doctors that I would go to their office, just like Uniseco did back in the 20s, teaching reflexology. And I would
explain to people. So you do it's not the Chinese form of reflexology that people are used to. It's called the Ingham method.
Yes.
And so it's a German. Is it German?
It's not German, but Eunice Ingham, who started it, is German.
It's German.
Yes.
So it's more of a medical form of reflexology. You're the boss. I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Ingham, back in the 20s, she was a massage therapist and also a chiropractor's assistant. So she was working for a doctor by the name of Dr. Riley. And Dr. Fitzgerald, who came from Hartford, Connecticut, who was an ears, nose, and throat specialist, at that time was studying something they called zone therapy. And he was going to Europe, and they used zone therapy in a way similar to the way we would use acupuncture now.
Yeah.
that they didn't have anesthesia back in the 20s.
Yeah.
So they would use it to like...
I call it anesthesia.
Yeah, that's right. So they did it for minor surgery. And he wanted Dr. Riley to get involved, and he didn't want to, so Eunice went. And what they discovered with this is it's based on zones of the body, that you have like 5 zones in each hand, and you have 5 zones on each side of the body. Yeah. And it's like kind of dissecting yourself into 10 pieces. Yeah. And anywhere in that zone where there's infection, scar tissue, inflammation, it's going to affect every other organ and gland that's within that zone. So Eunice said, well, if we're able to do that anywhere in the zone, why not find the spots on the hands and the feet and do all of the work right from there? So she mapped it out. She mapped out the hands anatomically in relation to all the organs and parts of the body, and she did it with the feet. And as they were starting to use it, they would see by working these certain reflexes in both hands and feet, it was affecting the parts of the body that it was related to. I'm always going, what department is this? And she knows right off the bat, and it's always where I'm having issues. That is interesting. So go back to debunking the myth of people thinking that it's new age or hokey pokey, if that makes sense. How would you answer that? Now, I personally have taught thousands of students that have become therapists. Tens of thousands. Yes, easily, and there have been, nurses, doctors, and so the proof is really in the pudding. It's more that doctors have seen the results of using reflexology, and I've had so many case histories over the years where I've actually had to go into a hospital and work with somebody who was dying. Or the doctor called you in. Or the doctor called me in. Right. And it ended up that they saw that what they were doing wasn't able to save somebody's life. And, what we found, and especially what I found in some of those cases, is that there's a beautiful blend of the two. What modern conventional medicine has, like for instance, a woman whose kidney was failing and she was going to make it through the night. In her case, she needed to be intubated. So in my profession, I didn't have that kind of experience or expertise. But in their case, what I was doing for her is I got her kidney to work. That was in kidney failure in a matter of 3 hours. And it was through using hands and energy on this person's body, or knowing specific parts of the body to work. Phone consultations, all of her information will be, and if you're interested in seeing her outdated website from the 1960s. Technology I'm not good at, but I'm really good at what I do. They didn't have websites in the 1960s, but I knew that would make you laugh. Yes. The description will be in the link below. So if you want to see a 1960 antique, go to my website. Go to her website, yes. So that's great, but I just love that. Now, would you be willing to demonstrate muscle testing? So let me, before you do this so I don't get your arm tired. When we are in the midst of anything that involves any of your senses, whether that's touch, smell, taste, hearing, sight, it's going to do one of 3 things to your energy. It's either going to keep you neutral. So let's say I had you take a vitamin. Yes. Your energy when you take that vitamin is either going to stay neutral or it's going to get over energized and it's going to make you weaker. Okay. Or it's going to strengthen you, right? So in muscle testing, when we're using what we call an indicator muscle, we're using it to tap into what's actually happening in the body. Okay. This demonstration. I'm going to show what muscle testing looks like first. Okay. So if I would just use about 2 pounds of pressure on your arm like this is where your arm subconsciously is going to go into a little bit of resistance against my pressure. I ask you to think about a favorite food of yours. Okay. Then tell me when you have it. Have it. Okay. Yeah. Now hold, and let's see. If I use even more pressure, tell me what's happening with your arm. I'm pushing up more. And it's stronger, right? Yep. Okay. Now I want you to think about something that you really do not like to eat. Something that mom made you eat. And anchovies. Okay, so now hold. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. So the energy just goes out. Yeah. So for about 15 seconds, that made your whole energy system become weaker.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we erase that and we come back and I have you think of something that you love again.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't have to be a food. It could even be sitting up in the penthouse looking
Yeah.
at the water.
Or the bridge.
Or the bridge.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hold again.
Yes.
Now you see how your
Yes.
energy has returned?
Yes.
Okay. So I can use that. So you said, you know, can I do something with urinary or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So let's say you did have a urinary infection going on.
Yeah.
So we might use it in a way of muscle testing, that I might be touching certain areas of your body to see what system might be over energized to that.
Yeah.
Or what, because a lot of this is based on Meridian kind of therapy.
Yes.
So it this way, and I could be touching certain things and asking even questions like stomach, spleen, heart,
Yes.
small intestine, bladder,
Yeah.
and see how your arm
Yep.
is starting to go.
Yep.
Okay, bladder, circulation sacs, triple wormer, gallbladder, liver.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Large intestine.
Yep.
Central government. So
Yeah.
from that
You can
place,
see. Yeah.
so you know, to do it up here in the penthouse
Yeah.
is harder than
Yes.
if we're going to have you in the
Yes,
office.
exactly.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to use certain acupressure points.
This is so fascinating. I'm so glad we were able to do this. Can you share some pivotal moments or strategies that have been critical in achieving your personal goals?
Experience of having my kids have certain conditions that I didn't know what to do with, and having somebody demonstrate to me that there was alternative methods that could heal them without them having to take meds that were going to make them sick. Well, that circumstance led me to being very fortunate when I started to learn a lot of this, because we didn't have the internet to learn something, because me taking reflexology or me taking Touch for Health meant that my inquisitive mind wanted to go farther, and I had to study more things.
But you're certified to teach all these.
I can teach them.
Yes.
But at that time, you didn't have an internet to go on. So that meant we had to put money, effort, and go to the masters.
Fly.
To learn, you know, the modalities that you wanted to do. For me, that experience alone just fascinated me to the point that it made me inquire more. So I took more courses, and the more I took, and the more that I got to work on people that were having challenges and seeing them get well, that just kept me on the path. It kept me exploring it.
Thank you. What tailored advice would you have for somebody interested in embarking on a journey of personal growth?
First of all, it's all about, you know, anything I teach people to be professionals and be able to do this themselves and teach other people. But my first thing, like the motto in my book, is because I take care of myself first, all others are served. So I would say people are fortunate now because there's so many practitioners around. You know, we have the books, we have the internet.
To do your due diligence and research.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people that are self-proclaimed experts in the field, and they don't have the extensive training or the education or the knowledge, or you have invested, like your book, we call it the $25,000 book. Because it's worth $25,000. No pun intended.
Well, I'm going to start charging.
I'm going to start charging, Right now it's $19.95 or something, That you have invested so much in computer equipment, technology, testing, just courses. Like it's a wealth of knowledge. So you really need to do your due diligence.
And you need somebody that is experienced and have had enough learning experience coming from actually working with people. Because that's where my training comes. You know, my training comes by somebody coming to me, introducing me to something that they have going on. Then I have to, if I don't already know about it, I have to really do my research.
You do.
You know, to be able to help assist them so that they can learn how to help themselves.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
But I would say this, you mentioned this, that let's take the example of reflexology, for instance. The Ingham method was the original method, you know, and then it spread internationally. Today, because we have the internet, it's more difficult for people to steer themselves to what is actually authentic. Because there are a lot of fly-by-night schools. Where I remember one time a woman, I happened to be in a holistic center, and she was coming in because she wanted a job in reflexology, and I knew she wasn't one of my students, and I asked her, like, where'd you get your training? And she said, oh, I did it online. Cost her $1,700 for the course, and it was a weekend class, and they certified her. So it's, unfortunately, we worked very hard to make this reputable. And now, because there's a lot of different organizations teaching reflexology that are teaching basically a glorified massage, that people have to be more diligent. We call it
generic reflexology.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. So they do.
Yeah.
People have to really be careful and search out and ask questions.
And I wanted that to be prevalent with today's talk, because so many people will just say, oh, I found somebody online, or a friend referred me to somebody, but you need to do your homework.
Yes.
And that's key.
You want to find out, where did they get certified?
Yes.
What were some of the original methods of this?
Yes.
So people need to go in, and they need to hunt it down a little bit so they know they're getting the true deal.
Question comes from your sister. She wanted me to ask Tracy. She wanted me to ask you, you were in a car accident that led to discovering something that developed a sound balance. Can you wait till the plane goes by?
The accident, I always had a thyroid condition that I worked with certain doctors who were very advanced back in the 80s, knowing how to work with thyroid. And when I had a car accident on the head-on collision, and when I had the head-on collision, it hit me directly in the throat. After I had the accident, I knew that after a few months went by, that I had developed some thyroid tumors. Nobody believed me because all my thyroid tests negative. I know from the muscle testing, I know myself, I know that there's something going on. Can you please do a sonogram? So they did, and here they found 2 large nodules. And of course, with that, the automatic response to that was, we're going to take out your thyroid. And I said, no, I don't want my thyroid. The first thing that came to my mind is, I'm a teacher. My kids wanted me to record my laugh. And I thought, because I also wanted to take my voice box with it. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for that without trying something. Doing my own muscle testing, because I teach it, so I could test myself. And one of the top things that came up for me was that I needed to do sound healing. I needed to vibrate to the sound of G, which is throat chakra energy. But I had to do it for 45 minutes twice a day. Hard to sustain, like using pitch pipes or whatever. So I had a friend in a recording studio, and I decided, I'm just going to record the frequency of the tone of G, play it back to myself. In 1 month's time, and I found an endocrinologist in Madison, and when I came into him and I said, I'm not really doing this conventionally, he looked at me and he goes, well, that's throat chakra. What's going on with that? So I thought, good, I have somebody to monitor this. And in 1 month's time, the tumors shrunk all the way down. So with that, I thought, okay, this is a good healing tool, because I'm all about giving people self-help tools. So I thought, this is a great tool. So I decided I was going to take the 12 tones of the 7 chakras and put them into 3-minute tracks, and that way people could just repeat it over and over again on whatever note and chakra they needed to balance.
And the information will be in the description below.
That's how the Sound of Balance vibrational came about.
And that's actually how I got to meet her, was that CD. So, drawing on inspiration from Oprah Winfrey, regrets over a missed question with her interview with Michael Jackson. What legacy you aim to leave in your field, or what do you want to be known for?
Wow. Okay. What I'm hoping, not that I want to be known for it necessarily, but what I'm hoping is that the years that I've devoted to teaching people, and I see this already, the years that I've devoted to helping people learn how to take care of themselves. My legacy would be that I was able to spread this as far as I can and help enough people to really know how to learn the tools to be able to help themselves, that they weren't dependent on somebody else fixing them, but that they had tools in their toolkit, that they knew how to work on themselves and they knew how to work on their loved ones, and that I contributed something to the world in spreading healthier alternative ways to heal ourselves without unnecessarily using medicine. Not that meds don't have their place, because they do, and conventional medicine has its place. But I really would like to be known for helping people take care of themselves.
You have beautiful grandchildren, and you have a beautiful daughter and a beautiful son, and daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws. What would you like to be known for with them?
Well, first of all, I would want them to know how much I love them.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
that
you're always a safe place.
You know, and I hope that I can be a safe place for them. You know, we all
you are.
We all have our imperfections, and you know, hope that I was an example to them, and I think I have been.
Yeah.
That they too would want to contribute something to the world that inspired people to be happier, find more joy in life, know how to think more positively, or, you know, be able to have some tools to share with people.
I got goosebumps because I used to watch Oprah, and she was being interviewed, and she was asked by, I believe it was Larry King Live, what regrets do you have for not, when you interviewed Michael Jackson or something? And she said right there, I regretted to say, what do you want to be known for? And I was on Prime TV. She was on ABC or whatever. It was her first Prime national, international interview. And she was the only one. I mean, Barbara Walters tried to get Michael Jackson on. Everybody tried to get Michael Jackson on.
Yeah.
Oprah got him. And she says, that's my biggest regret. And this was after he died, was that she never said, what do you want to be known for?
Well, I hope that I'm also known for my laugh, and that it inspires people to laugh.
Yes.
So.
There's a video somewhere on YouTube. I don't know where, but it's with you laughing, and it is a contagious laugh. So I got to say that. Utterly impressed to be able to call you not only a friend, but a close friend. There is a major storm system developing, like a possible hurricane coming this way, and that's why we are always on a boat when there's a hurricane. And so all the planes are leaving, and a lot of boats are leaving, so that's what you're hearing in the background. But hey, you work with what you got, right?
Right.
Do you have any favorite quotes that you love?
Yeah, I would say one of my favorite quotes is, and this I also put in my book, this is something that has always kept me going, and it is my philosophy on life, is that it is better to try and fail than fail to try.
I love that.
You know, I would say that's one of mine. And another quote was, you know, too, for me, we're here to give God a good time.
Yeah, we're here to give God a good time. I like that. Well, I mean, Vicki has sunk quite a few boats.
Only one.
Only one. Literally, they only owned it for what, a few hours, and what is it? The bow was sticking out, and it was like the not Air Force, but lifeguard had to come, and Coast Guard, the Coast Guard, lifeguard, Air Force. It might as well be, and they had to like helicopter you out of like swelling seas and tidal waves, and
they did it by boat, not helicopter.
Oh, by boat, okay. Yeah, boat, yeah, but that's just.
It felt like that, but
I only sunk one.
And I have to clarify, was it our fault?
Yes, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I only sunk one. You know, the stories. If you want to have a good time, call Vicki. Call Vicki. Her number is 800. No, I'm kidding. So thank you for this.
This
was amazing. Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to do this.
Oh, thank you.
You're a special guy.
Oh, and you're special. And don't ever forget that. It's going to be a lot of information in the description below, and please check it out. And if you ever want a fun ride, ask her for a boat trip. Or actually go on your women's retreat.
That's true.
That's true, because
coming up in October. Well, this year.
But then every October. Well, you've had a lot of hurricanes in your women's retreat. Let's talk about that.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Because so she does a women's retreat in the Outer Banks, and this is what, 30 years?
This is my 28th year.
28th
in
year.
A row.
In a
through
row.
Hurricanes.
In a row. Through hurricanes, through COVID, through 9/11.
Through 9/11.
Because they were down there on 9/11 when they got the news. And when that happened, you just said, let's pray for let's send them good vibes.
Yeah.
And you just shut off all the TV, and you went about your women's retreat.
Yeah, we watched it once a day so we could catch up. But
Yeah.
the important thing at that time was, again, we were there for self-care and being able to take that self-care and take it out to the world and make a difference in the world. And that particular year, so many of the people that did their work during that retreat were able to be very effective when they went home and they volunteered and they helped. But they were in a stable, grounded place to do it. Where one of them who had left was very anxious, you know, and she just kind of fell apart, right? But so that was a year that knowing that the tools that we had actually gave people stability to be able to be helped.
And because you provide all the food for the week and everything, and it's all raw and you know, earth crunchy, vegetarian, tree barking, swamp eating, all that good stuff.
Good spirulina.
Good spirulina and stuff. But you got evacuated multiple times for large hurricanes. We won't mention which ones. But you would go back to these hotels and no one else would have food, and people would be coming to your room.
That's right. And we gave them food because we packed up everything from the house. Yeah. And we decided to just go up to Norfolk. This was in the Outer Banks that it happened. And we decided to take a hotel room that lost electricity, lost a lot of its shingles, flooded the first floor, no power, no light.
Power, yeah.
But we continued. I think there was 14 people on this retreat. And we would continue, and you know, we would be in one room and we'd be still doing our art therapy, or we'd have
and
music.
People would come in from other, because you had no air conditioning, so you had to open the doors to get air, and people would hear the drumming and all that stuff, and they would want to join.
That's right, and they did. And then we did have to feed people because there was no food, you know, going around. And that, you know, that only happened twice, but both of those times ended up two of, I would say, one of the most powerful retreats we've had. And
so have a hurricane.
So again, you make lemonade out of lemons, right?
I love that. When you're given lemons, you can make lemonade.
That's right, and we made lots of lemonade
that year.
We made
lots of lemonade that year. So no, but truly, if you're able to experience one of her retreats, do it, because
and they could come for a private session,
or a phone session, or a Zoom session, or whatever.
Or come to a class.
Our class, exactly. You have people fly in from all over the world to take your classes. So, well, thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Good.